Shabba tweet tonight. Baby, and every other occasion.
Get ready, Cleveland. It's your turn to speak up. Call in and tell us what's on your mind. Join the Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell radio show on 95.9 FM WOVU or stream live at WOVU.org. Let's make your voice count. Let's go.
All right. We are back, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Strategic Moves radio show with Kenn Dowell and Dr. Heather Burton. We're here live every Tuesday right here on WOVU 95.9 FM, where we bring you the truth about what's going on in Cleveland and around this area. Before we get going, I want everybody who's watching us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, any of our platforms, if you got something you want to say, all you have to do is leave a comment. You leave a comment, we're going to drop that in on our comment line, and you'll get an opportunity to see your comment, as well as we'll try to make sure we can get that comment answered for you today. Today, before we get started, I want to get an opportunity to talk to DJ Unicorn about what's going on in Cleveland, because we want to know what's happening. We had a good long holiday break. We took some time off this weekend, didn't get a chance to get back in here, but I wanted to get a chance to see, how was your holiday, first of all? How was the 4th and all of that stuff and everything?
It was good. I put beans on the grill. I put mac and cheese on the grill.
Okay.
It was really nice. The oven went out.
Oh, no, you had no choice.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice, but I wasn't mad at it. I was not mad at all. Beans don't burn on the grill. It's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And they really didn't burn. It was delicious and a little bit of smoky. It was nice. Okay. It was nice, but I did, I am the caretaker of the elderly in my home. Okay. So I am now making the meals and doing the barbecuing and the things. So it's just interesting to, before I was at the table waiting to be fed. And now I'm doing the feeding. Now I'm doing the grilling. Now, it's me. So it's just interesting to be the one, putting the meat on the table. But I love it. I love it. I love the changes that come about with growing older, with getting seasoned even more right in life. So I'm just appreciative. As far as Cleveland goes, there's been a lot going on here in the city. Definitely a lot going on. But with the People's Office, we are looking for community partners for our upcoming teen takeover full court awareness. That's Sunday, August 16th from 2 to 6 p.m. in downtown Cleveland. This event will use the game of basketball to shine a light on missing children and unsolved cases, while connecting youth with opportunities, resources, and positive mentors. We're looking for partners to activate our CEO block with entrepreneurs and business owners. So if you are interested in volunteering your time with the youth, please let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram at Project Ripple, or give me a call. Give LJM a holler. We're also looking for a therapy corner. If we know some therapists that would like to come out, and shout out to Rivers in the Desert. They probably will be there as well. If not, if so, more the merrier. Community. We got a lot of trauma to heal. So more the merrier. Yes. Community resource tables as well are welcome. And so we just want to invite you. And if you're ready to invest in Cleveland's youth and stand up with us in raising awareness, we love to partner with you. You can reply again to Project Ripple Instagram. My Instagram was DJ Black Unicorn. No spaces, no periods, no nothing. It's just straight DJ Black Unicorn. Also the WOVU Instagram, 959 WOVU. You can reach out to Ken. He'll let me know if you let him know. But yeah, we're just grateful, and I'm just excited to see it keep growing. We also got the Hello Neighbor campaign still going. If you would like a yard sign, if you would like to sign up, if you're ready, you've been marinating and you've been hearing me talk about these things, and you're ready to join. We want you. Join us.
Sound like y'all doing some good stuff there. You continue to watch your program grow and do things that are making a difference here in our community. So we really appreciate that, what you got going on over there. Thank you. there was a lot of other things that was going on in the city and around the country this week. We had a boy, one boy that's died in Mississippi. His family still won't answers. No one that they haven't gotten yet. 7 families are suing the school district. Their kids got strip searched.
What?
At school. Yeah, that was something.
Here in Ohio?
No, it wasn't here in Ohio.
Oh.
That did happen. Trust me on that.
Where?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think I got it down here. The federal government just made it harder to prove discrimination that's going on. That decision, the federal government is always trying to figure out a way to screw us, make us even anything any much harder. Never easy. Let's make it always harder. Right here in Cleveland, $1 billion data center just got paused, and hundreds of cameras are got renewed. So that's the data center, and we're going to talk a little bit about that data center that took place here, as well as the flock cameras, which is a really big deal in our community. People are really upset about. You got a group of people who are really upset about flock cameras, and then you have another group of people who are not. And we're going to talk about the media and how sometimes they get in and portray people, and especially that one paper is called the Rooster. We're going to talk about Mr. Rooster today too. Hey, and then there was a couple of other things that took place that I think is worth us mentioning also. Any other thing that you want to talk about, Lateef? You got anything you want to say before we get going? We're going to get started in a second here.
Yeah. It's a big Saturday. It's a few events I got to choose from if I'm going to go out. I was thinking about going up to Akron for that EPMD concert. My people, keepers of the art, up there in Akron. They always throw a big old school. Last year, they brought KRS-One. I even caught Blaine out there. And KRS-One, he puts on a good show. I mean, it's crazy.
He's an originator. He's one of the originators. You can't help but be that.
What's your favorite old school artist?
You just named him.
KRS-One?
Yeah.
KRS-One or Rakim?
KRS-One. Rakim is good, but KRS-One. Rakim is good, but he don't have as many as one does. He hasn't been as long rapping as KRS-One. KRS-One still dropping right now. I mean,
they came out around the same time.
But he stopped.
Like in 80.
He stopped. Rakim is still rocking the same. I know I got soul, and, that kind of stuff. But no, KRS-One is the originator. Yeah, he flat out. He's hip hop. He's hip hop in every sense of the word hip hop. When I say that is the way he carry himself, the way he look. He ain't the flashy
He's like
guy.
walking hip hop. Huh?
He's walking hip hop. He ain't got the big gold necklace on. He ain't doing that. He's just straight up culture. That's it.
The one thing I like about KRS-One, he will freestyle. He still freestyles in a show, like off the play a beat, because he had DJ Cash Money. Which is a very good DJ, and he just came out there and just played a beat and just started freestyling about Akron or just anything off the top of the head. So I give him a lot of respect on that. But the one thing I slept on Rakim for a while, but I was in Chicago a while back, and Rakim was actually the headliner, and I was like, why is Rakim the headliner? But when I seen that show, when I seen that show, I mean, he was a headliner over a lot. Like they had Raekwon and Ghostface, they had KRS-One, they had a lot of big names on that show. And Rakim came out there and just blew it away. So I give Rakim, I like them both. But if you up in Akron, EPMD is supposed to be at Lot 3. Also out in Cleveland, you got the Tacos and Tequila. My boy Chameleonaire is coming back to the city. I'm trying to get up with him. And then you also, for all my suit and tie and tux wearers, you got the Freedom Fund dinner, the NAACP. So it's a lot going on this Saturday. So that's my Saturday outlook.
So Rakim will also be at FreshFest.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Next month. That's September 12th. This year, September 12th, FreshFest. Speaking of, did you know that? Was that just the alignment?
Yeah, no, I knew that, but then I wasn't thinking about it. But so I guess it aligned up.
Yes, I love the alignment. Yes. And if you're unfamiliar with what FreshFest is, we're talking hip hop culture. We're talking about health and wellness and merging the two with arts. Right there at Renewal Farm, that's 81st, in between 81st and 82nd and Kinsman. And WOVU will be kicking it off at the Box Spot that morning between the hours, I believe, 11 to 12 or 12 to 1. We'll keep you updated. But yeah, we're going to have some local artists kicking it off at the Box Spot. And then you can go down the street to the FreshFest at Otter Park. Again, that's September 12.
I give it to the FreshFest because MC Light did her thing last year.
Man, oh MC my God. You know, I'm MC not a big like person that fans out, but it took everything in me not to fan out and like just scream in her face and be like,
yeah. MC Light always been real. She's cool.
Yes.
So we also got another event we need to keep pushing out there because we got our event.
We got our event. Let them know. Our
event is going to be on the 22nd, August 22nd. We got our Freedom Festival.
Freedom
Fest 2026. Opportunity for you and everyone else to come out and enjoy freedom. It's a Freedom Fest, and what the Freedom Fest is all about is sponsored by the Strategic Moves Media Network. Councilman Pernell Jones also is a major sponsor for this event for us, who helped us to put that all together for us. So all of those help us to put this event together. It's an event we're going to do from 12 to 6 over off of East 88th in St. Clair. There's a park over there called Garden View Hill. If you're riding down St. Clair, you can't miss it. There's a big pavilion there at the top. We're going to take over that little hill from 12 to 6, and it's a freedom festival. Give you an opportunity to come out and express yourself. We're going to have poets out there doing poetry throughout the day. We're going to be out there doing a couple of podcasts. We got 3 podcasts we're going to shoot out there. I'm going to do one with Fred Ward and myself. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about power and what does power means in our community. And that's a big deal for us because that's a community that we grew up in. So we really take a real pride in being able to put that together. So we're going to be sitting down with Fred Ward to do that. We have a gentleman coming in by the name of Derek Grayson. If you're not familiar with him, you can check him out online. He's going to be coming in as well, and he's going to be shooting a podcast live with Watts, my man Watts, down there that day. And we got a couple other people who are going to do it. We got a couple other surprises too. We're going to have a cipher that's going to go on. So the mic is going to be hot, and we're going to have the DJs playing music, and you'll be able to come up and bust out a few ciphers that we're going to do a couple of rounds of that going on. And we're going to have a mic, a hot mic. And when I say a hot mic, we're going to have a mic open that says that gives you the what we would call the giving you an opportunity to walk up on stage and talk about why didn't I vote? So what we're trying to do is we're going to have a mic there that you can just walk up to, and you'll be able to stand up there and talk about it. And we're looking for people who didn't vote and have an issue with voting. And we want to give you an opportunity to stand up there and say why you didn't do it and what you feel about voting that turns you off about it and why you wouldn't vote. So we're going to have that up. We're going to have music. We're going to have food. The first 500 people who comes up and show us that they are registered and subscribe to our channel will get a chance to get a free meal that day as well. So with all of that being the case, it's going
Freedom
to be
Summer.
It's Freedom Summer.
In the spirit of Gil Scott Heron. He won't be there.
Yes.
But his spirit's going to be in the house.
Spirit in the house. You'll be able to come up to Calling Post newspaper, journalists, any of those people. This is an opportunity. So if you are a vendor that wants to portray, take a part of what we're doing, give us a shout out where you can reach out to me. That's Kenn Dowell. That's KENDOWELL @gmail.com. You can reach out to me and then let me know that you're interested. We're going to also have information on the interwebs. And if you're following us and listening to us on all of our social media platforms right now, you will get an opportunity to see much information about that. WOVU is a major sponsor who's going to be there. DJ Unicorn is going to be throwing down and all that throughout that day. So our whole posse is going to be out there. Freedom Summer. You get to meet us all. I was hoping to get Dr. Burton, but as usual, she's on some plane flying to some
She's
city.
on tour.
She on tours. And we got Joe Little also, who's a part of our team. But as usual,
he's on tour.
He's on tour too. So they both going to be there. But the rest of us will be. And we're going to celebrate Freedom Summer 2026 right there in Glenville. Judge, just to let you know, all of this was all your idea. I think on one of our shows you said, you know what we need a Freedom Summer. And to talk about that in the full sense of what was happening before. So now we're going to kick off Freedom Summer 2026 right here at this Glenville at East 88th in St. Clair, August 22nd. So you'll hear more about that.
And see, this all generated when I saw the people that were competing in the World Cup. I don't know if y'all watched the World Cup, but
yeah,
we had so many people from the diaspora that either from colonies or from slave countries. Slave countries like the United States. Of course, the United States didn't do well because they haven't made soccer a inner city sport. But these other countries, there would have been no World Cup champion from Spain if it wasn't for Black folks who had dual citizenships from African countries who were in Spain. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, Paul Hill wrote an article on how the African influence and population was just eliminated from Argentina. They did it by just saying, we didn't exist. Erased it out of museums and places like that. They actually just decided we didn't exist. Now, they are Blacks. They're Africans in Argentina, but you couldn't tell by their sports team because they just decided the strategy would be, we got them. We just ain't gonna say nothing about them.
Or we don't want them.
They got them. They just decided we're not gonna say anything about it. It's the Trump thing. He wanted He wanted to say we don't say anything about these Black folks. Right. Then people say they don't exist. There's too many of us, and he'll never win that.
Sort of like that birthday party he put on.
Oh yeah. Just make up some stuff.
None of us was there. It was like they did a whole birthday party celebrating 250 years.
And there's no Blacks, no
with none of us,
no indigenous people, no Blacks from the diaspora. They had he had his two. He looked like he about 250.
Yeah,
he looked like he about 250.
Yeah, he slept.
The more I look at him, the more he looked like he about 250. And these people who follow him. They would be the people that would be slave catchers. They'd be Black folks that follow him would be slave catchers. This ain't got to do with the Republicans. I'm talking about him. Him. I used to wonder about people who worked in jails and who worked in prisons. And then I said, oh, okay. They're the people, Black folks who support him would be the people who be slave catchers who would be telling on you. And who would actually be the
what did they overseers. Call him in Django? What was his name? Samuel Jackson played him in Django.
Yeah. Not Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus.
That wasn't Ruckus.
What was his name?
I'm lost on that one.
But it's like a group of them. You got to watch it back.
Oh,
Uncle Tom's and
Master sick, we sick. We sick.
It wasn't Uncle Tom. They worse than Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was strategic.
These were guys who'd assimilated. They totally assimilated into slavery.
You tell where the hole in the fence at.
They're the ones who was telling on you, bro.
So I know they didn't have nothing to do with what we were starting on. But DJ Unicorn got a schedule, bro. And her schedule keep us all young because she be running hard. So I'm
too hard. I'm burnt out, baby. I need a break. You gonna take me on a vacation?
Yeah,
I ain't go
watch
somewhere.
Out now. We on the national radio.
Take me to a beach, baby.
She got a schedule.
National radio here.
She got a schedule.
Well, let's talk about some of the stuff we talk about.
That's right.
We was talking about these 7 families from Mississippi who suing the school district because their kids got strip searched at school. No parent sign off. No judge walked it through and decided they did unconstitutional searches on all these kids. So I was going to ask you, Judge, this happened in Mississippi. You asked me where city in Mississippi it happened in, and it happened at a city called Atlanta. Attala. I don't know how you pronounce that county school district, and that's somewhere deep in Mississippi. It sounds like it was called McAdams High School is where it was at, and that was the county that it was in. The school was called McAdams High School, and these 7 kids all got strip searched all the way down, and were able to go through there. So my point, the question to you, Judge, is when we get to that point, where does the school and the parents right? Do they have a right to strip search kids without their parents' consent in the school if they find the kids or individuals doing something suspicious?
Were these black children?
Yeah, of course.
Well, then, see, this country really believes that blacks have no rights. Their whites are obligated to respect. They really believe that, even though we've had court cases that you reverse that. Plessy versus Ferguson, when that was established, that we don't have any rights. And there's some white folks that actually never, ever got over that. And that's how they operate. Now, they'll come up with some skimpy probable cause, but when you look at what actually happened, there should have been a call to parents because they were strip searched. They weren't just searched. Their bodies were violated. They were raped by the authorities. When you start strip searching, that is and some folks, in some of these states, they've never gotten over the fact that not only do people have certain rights, we have certain rights now, but to even think that was all right. This shows you the disregard and how deep our struggle is. See, I always talk about that. We didn't have, Juneteenth was not a freedom day. It was a day where they were released from slavery into Jim Crow. And we've been fighting this battle. We thought we had it beat in 1965 and 64 and 65, but it's a mentality. It's a mentality, and beating that mentality back is going to be our major struggle. We're going to have to fight that thing, and we're going to have to start acting like we are free. We're going to have to start acting like that free, and big people challenge our freedom.
So we know that a school does not have any rights or any laws that gives a school the right to have or touch any part of your children's body or to be able to come in and strip search you or any of that. But with the way the government is now, changing laws and changing things and making it harder to discriminate people, what do you do? Well,
you're going to have to challenge both in the courts and in the voting booths. You have to take them to court. And you're going to have to, the case is going to have to get back to our Supremes at some point. But, they have the right to search you if there's a safety issue, but they have to have the probable cause can't be low-level probable cause. And then they can't strip search you. Right. They can search you.
That's crazy.
And isolate you, but they can't strip search you. See, that's a whole nother level. I can do a pat down, turn your pockets out, that kind of thing. But to strip search means they have to violate you. Now, that's a whole different level. And they have to have, the probable cause would have to be so high, it couldn't be that low level. But even then, it's questionable. And it shouldn't be done without parents being present. It shouldn't be done at all.
That's crazy.
And the legality of that, but it is Mississippi.
It's Mississippi. And it's just really bad down there. It's crazy to say when the people whose job is to protect you stop doing it on purpose. It's not an accident, it's policy. And that's basically where we're at right now with everything.
That's right. It's a violation.
Making it as a policy. That's why nobody's voting on this kind of stuff.
That's right. So you have certain Fifth Amendment rights. You have certain rights against search and seizure.
Let's move on to the next thing we was going to talk about. The next thing we was going to talk about is the Noah Wells case. Everybody understands about the young man who came up missing over the 4th of July holiday in Gulf Coast, Mississippi. Again, that happened in Mississippi too. Wasn't it July, Mississippi?
Everything's happens in Mississippi.
Oh, they on fire today. His family is still waiting on answers. You know, I'm not going to get into everything that's happened. I'm sure you guys have been following it online. I believe they had a ceremony yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I saw parts of that on Don Lemon, that they were dealing with that. So, Judge, have you been following this thing and been kind of keeping up with what's been going on with
tangentially? Because I got 4 murder cases I'm working right now.
Got
four murder cases I'm working right now.
Wow.
And so no, I've been focusing on those, but I've been hearing tangentially. Why don't you take that?
Well, basically, you know, what's been happening with that,
camping can be dangerous.
Camping can be dangerous, but 4 people go out to go camping and only 3 of them come back. And I think it's kind of odd, and nobody has no real answers about what's going on or what happened. I think is part of the issue with that. There's a little blowback I've been hearing from some of the people on the interwebs, and we call the haters, who always find a reason to hate on something, who was saying that, you know, they trying to find a way to blame the parents on this. And I'm like, blame the parents? And it's like, yeah, they want to try to blame the parents by saying the parents shouldn't have let him go out there on the trip and that. But you give your kids the opportunity to try to expound themselves or be a part of what's going on. Some felt that we kind of tend to want to assimilate into communities to try to do that, and we shouldn't. Maybe they shouldn't have put them in that, and I disagree with that as well. I think we try to put our children and ourselves in the best positions that we can to try to do better in life, and trusting people, no matter what color they are. It's a matter of trust and having people you feel that you can trust to do things with, is what it's all about. That could have very been 4 black kids who went out and 3 come home. That happens a lot, Judge, because you're just saying now you got 3 murder cases of your own. So I don't think, I think to some degree that, I don't want to say it's racial what happened to the young man, but I think what's racial is what happens after that. And that's the system and everything else that goes along with that may be protecting the other people who might know something that's going on. That part of it, I believe, is the piece that I want to pull from this to say that part of it, I believe we can look at it because of what happened in the past with us being who we are and how the justice system done played us.
And see, stigmatizing the child and his parents does not do justice, trying to find when they found him, but does not do justice to the question of how this happened. We should be focused on how this happened. You know, and to speak of in terms of his parents should have not let him go. I mean, his parents, if he gone to, we've had school shootings where his parents, did you hear anybody say, well, if his parents hadn't let him go to school, he wouldn't have been shot? You ever hear that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, right.
People don't say that. If he hadn't been at the mall on that day, he wouldn't have gotten killed. If he hadn't gone to the movie in Denver, they wouldn't have got shot. If he hadn't gone to church in South Carolina, the boy never could have killed anybody. Those take away from the issue. They're just distraction. As Jesse Jackson used to call them, these are just shadows. Stay on point.
Right.
And that's the tragedy of this, that they're going to try to stigmatize the kid for engaging in normal behavior.
Right. Normal behavior. And that's why I say it's not that part of it we shouldn't get stuck on, because it's all the other pieces to that I think is what we need to really watch, because that's where, like you say, the stuff that falls through the cracks, are they doing a thorough investigation on this? Are they working with the proper people, and are the right people giving them the right information from the FBI on down? I think that's the important piece that I think that's more important than us than worrying about whether or not, why you put them in an area with, people that doesn't look like it.
Right. And spinning back to that strip search for quick. There's no reason for them to have strip search.
That's crazy as hell.
Zero.
That one
Zero.
Still got me going.
Zero. And when the parents got there, then they could have talked about what needed to be doing in terms of what they were looking for.
Other than the fact that they other than the fact that it's Mississippi. Like
they
sound like they do whatever they want to do down there in Mississippi.
I remember the Grambling, Mississippi Valley and Jackson State had to sue the state of Mississippi over historical discrimination, and actually won the suit.
Right.
The Alvin Chambliss and the boys actually won the suit. So Mississippi is just the country encapsulated. It's what this country does.
It's Mississippi.
From New York, you talk about the cases that Al Sharpton used to fight all the time in New York. So that's how it is. We live in this. This is the nature of our country from its birth. We're going to talk about the flock cameras later on. I heard somebody tell me to my face, well, Benjamin Franklin said. I said, oh, so now you quoting a slave owner.
Oh, wait, who was you talking to who quoted some Benjamin Franklin?
Benjamin
I don't think I ever talked to anybody in my 58 years of life.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever talked to anybody who quoted Benjamin Franklin.
They're talking about how,
and maybe
it's just crazy.
I just might have a small circle.
Yeah. Benjamin said. I said Benjamin. Benjamin, the slave owner, who said, "Well, I don't really believe in slavery, but it's wonderful to have the convenience of owning slaves." That was Ben. Quote that.
That's crazy.
Next time you go quote some Benjamin.
That's crazy. Hey, I will give a shout out to Lisa McGuthrie Gore. Her birthday was this week or last week. It was last week because we just started this week. So shout out to Lisa. She's following us and left us a few comments on there calling the guys some clowns. I understand that. That's exactly what they act like. So we want to move on to our next theme. Is we're going to talk a little bit because Cleveland is one of the things we always are very happy to talk about what's going on here in C-Town. And right now in C-Town, we know there was a few things that City Council passed this week. One of them was the flock cameras. We got two issues we're going to talk about that's really heavy in the city of Cleveland. One is the flock cameras, and the second thing is the data centers. If you haven't been following me, again, I mentioned earlier, we have a Substack that we do that comes out. And on my Substack, I did two articles. One was talking in regards about the data centers and that fight that city of Cleveland is going up against as it relates to the data centers, and the other one was the actual flock cameras. So let's start with flock because I know that's something you're really heavy with. Matter of fact, let's do data centers first. We're going to end with flock because we got a lot to talk about at flock. Data centers, as anybody don't know, the city of Cleveland was voted to put a moratorium on being able to allow data centers in the city of Cleveland. While they're doing that moratorium, they're going to keep everything open to take an opportunity to do some. I told it what I believe it should be, and they should be doing some public campaigning out to give the public as much information as it can about data centers and what data centers are all about and what it brings to a community and what it hurts in the community. So they're going to spend some time to get some information and learn more about that. And I'm pleading with them, and I'm going to do my part in the radio station here on this show as well as our podcast. We're going to be bringing in guests on both sides of that and people from both sides to talk about what data centers actually mean. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a data center is, and if not, I know there's lots of people who are always saying, hey, what's a data center? And they already really quick to say they don't want them in the community, but I want people to get the real information and know itself. And if you don't know what a data center is, it's just a big place that holds all its data. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly the name, data center. Every place that you store your data on a computer, everybody understands that a computer got to have storage. And if you're going to use it, the storage got to be somewhere. And guess what, y'all? It's not up in the cloud. As much as everybody like to say it's in the cloud. No, it's not in the cloud. It's in a data center. And for years, there's been very small data centers all around the city working in various different aspects around the community. And then you have these big boys who need big storage, such as Meta and Google and people like that. And those facilities are very big facilities. And there's some incidents where you can show where it shows where it caused rises in electrical bills. It may have taken lots of water to use it and cooling off some of this material and the sound that it brings. And then there's some places where they build them. They say they build them in areas. A lot of folks want to say they build them in the Black community and places like that. But, it boils down again, Judge, that me and you know that sometimes it's not just the Black community, it's the poor community. It's the place where they can get land. And it's not where they can get land and where they can get it cheap. And in most cases, that's in the Black community because we have the most land, because there's nothing but vacant land. When you go through the city of Cleveland, there's lots of vacant land, and and there's not as many people living on the east side as it is on the west side. So that's just how that boils down, and it comes to dollars and cents. So we're going to be getting a lot of information on it. We're going to see what City Council did. They did put a block on it to not do it, and we'll go from there. I gave the city a great idea in my Substack. I told that the city of Cleveland ought to take the IX Center and turn the IX Center into a big data center. It should be the City of Cleveland Data Center. And that's a good location for it because it's out there by the airport, so nobody's worried about the sound because it's always noisy out there. That's one. Two, it's out the way. It's not in nobody's community. It's all the way out there off of the airport. It's a huge facility that they were already talking about selling or doing something with. They can use it. And here's the best part, because everybody, when you get into the thing about data centers, the city can sell storage and space to Cleveland Clinic, all these suburban cities all around it, to be the place that actually comes in, use the data center to do something right with it, mandate it, it does the right things for the community as it relates to how you want it to operate, and do something with it, opposed to just always saying no. So my thing with the city of Cleveland is always saying no. Two, I'm a person who believes in the fact that we do need to have somewhere to store all this information that Kenn Dowell talks about. Somebody got to hold my podcast, and somebody got to be keeping my pictures and all my stuff of my family when I put it in my phone. Someplace got to have my chart. So why not? So that's how I believe, but I don't believe that to the detriment of our community. Go ahead, Judge.
Now, what's the other large construction project that's popped up all over our community? That
Amazon.
And Amazon does distribution. But if you look around in every neighborhood, you see, in every municipality, you see major enterprises turned into storage centers that hire two people. Somebody let you in and somebody let you out and somebody give you your keys. My point is that people have things that have to store. Now,
you're talking about you storage.
Yeah. You storage.
Self-storage. Okay, now I'm with you. Okay, now I'm with you.
Self-storage. You see them everywhere.
I'm with you.
Now, where they've taken land that was productive and turned it into storage centers, self-storage centers. Now, if you want to stop having data centers, everybody take their computer right now and your cell phone and throw it in the trash. Then you don't have to have a data
That's
center.
what I say, right.
But since that's not going to happen, everything we use now from our, I don't even know, we don't call them, do they still call them televisions anymore?
Yeah.
They ain't changed the name of that yet.
They don't call them, they call them televisions.
Flat screen.
It does so much more. You can watch everything anywhere. And these things right here, this little thing right here, this phone, we would die without this now. People, you may forget if you're a woman, you forget your purse at home. I'm gone. I ain't going to worry about it. But leave your phone at home. You are going back to get it. Quick. If you leave it,
I'd have been halfway there and had to turn around and go back. Right.
So with all this technology, it has to be stored somewhere. Now, my idea of where you can store it, since throwing your phone away is impractical and that will happen, we have the biggest place to store data north of I-90 in the Shoreway, the entire lake. If you want to, we can build. In the Middle East, they build whole countries out in the middle of the water.
You better not talk about putting nothing on that lake.
But
they'd be lining up outside your car out
right
there. Yeah, they're beautiful lake.
But now here's your option. You got to store it somewhere.
Put it at that IX Center and quit messing around.
You got to store it somewhere. And there's nothing out there at the IX Center.
Ain't nothing there.
It's huge tract of land. They stopped having shows at the IX Center, so put it out there.
Put it on the IX Center.
Okay, that's a good spot for it.
Put it there and make some money. Because that's what's happening in communities right now. You know, there's some data centers that actually pay the city's utility bills and stuff. They're making so much money off of those data centers.
That's the trade-off.
And
it's a trade-off.
And if we supposed to be Cleveland and we put, here's my thing, man, we put these young and other innovators in these positions to move us futuristically along, then let's do that. I'm good with the golf course on the lake. I'm good with the other stuff we're talking about, but man, imagine how much resources we can bring in if we were to really take that and move it into a real
put it where it does the least harm. And see, you know, people keep offering up. We don't have an east side of town soon.
Right.
It would be gone. There would be no east side of Cleveland if we keep putting commercial buildings. If you put a data center. See, you're not doing anything to bring people back.
Right.
To bring
that's not building community.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not building community. No. As I go out and look at our community and you know, look at all the vacant land we have now. My mother's 100 and she'll be 102 in March. She's doing a project on what it was like when the Cleveland was coming out of depression and comparing it to Cleveland now. And her comment was, we had poverty during the Depression that impacted even rich people, you know, because people were jumping out windows and all that kind of stuff. But when you compare the city and what it looks like to the city and what it looked like then, the city looks terrible now because you don't have people, you don't have population, you have vacant lots. Then you had things that were not in good shape during the Depression, but you had people here. And the city had not reached its growth peak yet during the Depression. Now, you know, you go around Cleveland I know many young people wonder, when was this a major city? When was this the 8th largest city in the country? You know, you don't have any of that. And more we destroy our East Side residents, the less culture we're able to maintain in Cleveland.
Let's talk. Let's move on to the next thing because we got a few minutes, and I know this one you really got a lot of information on. City Council voted on the flock cameras. They voted to give them an extension of their contract, I believe 6 months, where they're going to allow the company that's doing the flock cameras now to stay in city of Cleveland, doing what they're doing. They put some provisions in there to get them to be able to not share data and a few other things that they were asking them to not do in the process of doing this. And from my understanding, they will be going ahead and putting it back up. Up in 6 months, they're going to be bringing it back up and it'll be out for bid. So there'll be other companies who can bid on that as well. Then we'll be having that coming up as well. So Judge, to flock or not to flock?
Well, until you get something better in order to make sure that people who violate, we're close to the corner, the intersection of Kinsman and the Opportunity Corridor. Now there are flock cameras all along that area. And they talk about the license plate reader portion of it, but it's much more than that.
Now, once you explain to them about that is when we
For example, if you happen to be a victim of a hit and run at Opportunity Corridor in Kinsman, there are flock cameras that will pick up who hit you, and they'll be able to track that vehicle until they find it. I'll give you another better example. When the coaches from Ohio State were carjacked, when they came up here to recruit some kids, they took off. Two things found. There were two technologies that identified those kids. We were able to find those carjackers. One was the monitors they put in the rental car, and the second was flock cameras, because they saw just where they saw the incident, went to the flock cameras, and that's something that is a benefit in order to catch people that engage in criminality. People talking about it doesn't prevent crime. It doesn't prevent crime because it's an inanimate object, but it catches criminals. The other thing is that it also exonerates people who are falsely accused, because, you know, I had a case where they said a young man chased a person into a parking lot and shot her. Well, the thing was, the flock camera showed things happened just the opposite. That she chased him the entire time. So now, yes, the government violates our rights every day. Federal government is probably the worst violator of our human rights because they will still take the technology and misuse it so they can violate the rights of people. So until we come up with something better to catch or protect folks, something that does not let the federal government take advantage of it without meeting certain requirements, flock is the best we got. Now we got 6 months in Cleveland to come up with something better. Something better. And I hope our technology does lead to something better where the government cannot violate it. Now, Shaker Heights, they put restrictions on. Cleveland will put restrictions on, but the government can violate everything. You know?
So what's their biggest beef about it?
That surveillance, that is illegal surveillance. It violates your right to privacy. Now, it's sort of hard. You know, you do have a right to privacy in your vehicle. But that privacy is limited by the fact that you live in this high technology that we have.
But do you have a privacy of once you outside your vehicle and you're in the public space?
When you're outside your vehicle, no. But in your vehicle is like being in your house.
So they're saying the flock cameras can see you in your vehicle?
Well, it can trace your license plate, and they sort of stretch that thing. Okay. And because the government can follow anybody by going through the camera stuff and just say, okay, we're gonna check everybody in Cleveland that's going down Opportunity Corridor, and let's see where they go.
You know, there's been some cases where they said that there have been people who have, because there's only so many people who can access flock, so it's not like everybody can get there, can get that information. But I guess the worry is that Lateef got access to flock, and he's worried about his wife or something doing something, and he go to work one day and just turn on the flock cameras and follow her all day.
Well, he could do that by putting the monitor in the car and follow her all day. But we're talking about government intrusion, not Lateef intrusion.
Well, Lateef worked for the government.
Well, you know, when police officers violate like lead systems and other things, they get prosecuted. They get prosecuted for that. And we have had many police officers get prosecuted for putting the little devices on cars to track, and then they come back and the wife said he tracked me and then beat me up. So that we've had plenty of cases where that's happened.
Well, I think city council need to get an understanding also about what access people have, because I do believe during that process also they found out there was an organization they didn't know had access to it, who does have access to it all along, and that became a big thing in the meeting as well.
Everything can be abused, and it is abused in this country. So you have to put restrictions and redundancy so it cannot be abused. All right, that's the question. You got to put redundancies so it cannot be abused. You know, and it's important. And see, remember, a lot of this is because we didn't vote. I keep telling people that a lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening if we just voted. Okay.
So, Judge, we got a couple of minutes. Got anything on your heart you want to say before we got here?
I'm looking forward to your Freedom Summer. I think that's going to be so important. And you know, when DJ Unicorn is talking about the places that she goes to, we need to turn this thing up so that voting in this midterm becomes the most important thing we do. All right. And we got to vote for candidates who respect us, represent us, and will protect our rights. We get a Congress that will protect their rights. We need somebody to stand up. Donald Trump is a bona fide nitwit. You saw him doing the awards at the
they was trying to get him.
They was trying to move him off the stage.
He wouldn't leave.
His big behind. I don't know if it's because his big behind was too slow.
No, he just wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I said, man, get off the stage.
It ain't even his country.
No,
it's like, why you even up there?
Yeah, get him off the stage. Get out the way.
Hold on, I want to say something about FIFA also. They said that the United States messed up FIFA with the halftime show. Y'all heard about that too, right? Because you know they don't have a halftime show.
But you know who said it? Who was saying it was messed up? People from the United States.
Well, no, it was a lot of people from over in the other countries saying, hey, we don't have a halftime show. Y'all did this big old halftime show. You had the people out there singing. Our folks, they ready to play soccer. They have a
halftime though.
Yeah, but the show went over the halftime.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah, the show went over the halftime, and I don't think they quite was digging what was going on.
Well,
and it was America. You know, it was like America. We always do our thing. We gotta be. Hey, let's do a halftime show. They like and bring Madonna out. All right, okay.
Because that's big money, big advertisement.
Well, they tried to go international. They got artists that people can know.
Your boy, my son, your partner, they had a big commercial. That big commercials all through the doggone.
That FIFA.
All through the World Cup.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. It was big money. It was huge money. So it's the World Cup. The United States didn't come out on top, which is all right. Argentina didn't win neither, so that made it better.
That's right.
So everything went the way.
But they wanted to push Argentina and Spain together for that young guy and Messi.
Cristo.
They wanted. That's the matchup they had been pushing. Because
you had the top 4 teams. You had the top 4 teams in the semifinals. The top 4 teams in the world.
I'll tell you one thing. I watched it, and after the first 15 minutes, I was so tired. I was like, man, I don't even understand how those dudes even play that. Man,
you're tired watching it. Huh?
And soccer, the clock never stops.
Nope.
It just keeps running. And what they do at the end of the game, if they stop the clock, they add the time back on at the end of the game. So if you get hurt and you took 3 minutes or so, man, they say, that's cool, take your 3 minutes. And at the end of the game, they add that 3 minutes back on. So
extra time.
They give you that time. You're going to run in soccer. That's for sure. So,
that's right.
You know, I'm big props to anybody that's a Major League Soccer player. Even bigger props if you made it to the FIFA and you in that, because that's some serious condition. You're only giving me the finger, and I don't really mean to say, y'all, you know, give me that twirly finger like it's time to get off.
The wrap-up finger.
The wrap-up finger she's giving us. So it's time for us to say goodbye to all our company. Till next week, we'll see you on Strategic Moves Radio Show with Dr. Heather Burton whenever she decides to come in. From tour, and Kenn Dowell. We'll see y'all next week.
What's on your mind this Tuesday, Cleveland? Let's talk art, culture, politics, and business on the Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell Radio Show. Call us on 95.9 FM WOVU. Stream live at WOVU.org or comment on our social media. Let's hear from you.
This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell.